Welcome to my morning, welcome to my day. Yes, I'm the one responsible. I made it just this way to make myself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly, I wouldn't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la. Welcome to my happiness, you know it makes me smile. It pleases me to have you here for just a little while we open up the pages and try to break some chains. And if the truth is told, they will never come again. La la la. Responsible and made it just this way to make myself some pictures, see what they might bring. I think I made it perfectly, I wouldn't change a thing. La la la, la 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 la, la la la, la la la.
Sounds good.
God, is that you?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Morning.
Our angel from heaven is our speaker today. That is Reverend Joanna Gabriel.
I'm here. You are not.
I don't see you.
You will.
I'm in spirit form today.
I can't hug you.
I missed that.
So today we have musicians. We have Sally and Jamie. Our board member of the week is Debbie Lee. She's also an usher with Cindy. Our chaplain is Candace. There she is. And Joe is our youth ed champion. And our hospitality host, this is Mary Ellen. And spick and span is everybody. Our technology director, back in the corner, is Mark Swink. And I'm Ron Savage. I'm your platform person today. So, I want to welcome everybody. And if you could lead the people in the heart song, appreciate it.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am. Letting fear and worry fall away from me, I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love.
today at Unity of Bremerton, we welcome you in the spirit of love. We want you to know that no matter where you are in your journey of faith, you're always welcome here. We know that the world is a better place when we are willing to share our hearts. We give you this heart as a symbol of the steadfast spirit that lives within each of us, and we ask you to carry this symbol as a member of our Red Heart Fellowship. Let it be a reminder that the love of God is always with you, and to share your heart wherever you go. The Red Heart, as a symbol of fellowship in the world, can spread love one heart at a time. Let's start that movement here. So, Unity happenings. On the 29th, we have Reverend Karen Hamilton with Sally and Jamie. On August 5th, we have Sadah Cimarron with Michael Gregory. On August 12th, we have Doug Beck with Mercedes Nicole. And of course, we have A Course of Miracles on Thursdays from 7 to 8 here. So our weekly board report. Debbie Lee.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So we're still in our annual membership renewal time. We have copies of the 2018 membership form available in the fellowship area. Please fill it out and turn it in using the tray on the counter outside the office. Membership renewal time will end at the end of July. Our annual meeting is coming up in October, and if you want to vote, you must be a confirmed member by the end of July. We want to remind you that we are live streaming our service. We ask you to please keep conversation down because it is being picked up with the microphone right there, especially during the candle lighting and paper burning. Also, please be sure your cell phones are turned off or on vibrate. We want to remind everyone that prayer request forms are available in your seats, and you can just place them in the box here. And the chaplains are also available to pray with you after service on Sundays, and today Candace is our chaplain of the day. Unity of North Kitsap has a weekly meditation Thursday, July 26th at 7 p.m. It's called a Graceful Passages Meditation. Leslie Hamill will share her own life experiences around death and dying, as well as the wisdom teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, Abraham Hicks, and Bhagavad Gita, and Byron Katie. So we might move closer to peaceful acceptance of this inevitable reality. They meet for meditation every Thursday night in the fellowship hall at Faith Episcopal in Paulsbo. So we're going to have our craft fair rummage sale, and the date for that is going to be November 17th. For those who have signed up, please start thinking about what you want to share and start creating those items you might want to sell. There will be a meeting on Sunday, August 5th, after the service for those who can attend to start planning. If you haven't already signed up, please do so on the sheet in the fellowship area. Speaking of the fellowship area, the table out there has many sign-up sheets for all of our different events and activities, so please stop by and check that out. And if you really want to stay up to date with our activities, be sure to sign up for the weekly e-blast. So the board has an update for everyone regarding our ministerial search. We did hear back from Reverend Larry, and they have decided to pass on our offer to come be a minister here. I think with all the travel and the distance, they realized just how far we are from their home and family. And so when push came to shove, it was a matter of being too far away. So we want to thank them for coming, and I think we'll be able to call on Reverend Larry if we need any help moving forward. Want to just take this moment for us to just kind of gather and remember who we are and all the blessings that we have, and just to be grateful that knowing that Spirit's moving through this situation, and whoever comes to be our minister, it will be good for all concerned, and we affirm that now. So, as always, if you have any suggestions, questions, or concerns, please reach out to a board member. Thank you.
I'll be lighting the Christ candle this time. This candle represents the divine light within each of us. Now the invocation, if you would.
We are a welcoming community supporting our mutual quest for spiritual truth.
And our statement of faith.
There is one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent.
Thank you. Okay, this is the time when we get to say hello to our neighbors. Be gentle with your neighbors.
How delicious.
You just made it.
Helping a family. Morning again. Busy on Sunday. Good morning. Good to see you.
Hey, Larry.
We're getting all of our service in this.
Haven't been to church for a couple of years. Busy taking care of the family.
There's my girl. How you doing?
Spirit within me, create in me a clean heart, oh God. Renew my spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, O Lord. Take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and renew thy spirit within me. That sounds like joints cracking. Today's daily word is time enough. I have time enough for rest, work, pleasure, and prayer. At the end of a busy day, do I focus on appreciating what I achieved, or do I berate myself for those tasks I've yet to accomplish? The attitude in which I started my day had a great deal to do with the ensuing results. I create each day's experience through the choices, large and small, that I make as the day unfolds. My storehouse of divine energy keeps me mentally focused. With a positive attitude, I affirm, I have time enough, wisdom enough, strength enough, and energy enough to do whatever is before me this day. As confidence in my creative power grows, I become clearer and calmer in each choice, and my day perfectly expresses my new consciousness. From Mark 1, verse 15, the time is fulfilled and the kingdom of God has come near. Today I have time enough for rest, work, pleasure, and prayer. God bless us.
Amen. Amen.
thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. One more time. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
I think a lot of you know this song, so if you know it, sing along. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us on the sky. Imagine all the people living for today. And there's no countries. It's hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. Wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. Motherless is children of man and woman. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Good singing. So our speaker. Just checking. Our speaker today is an angel from heaven, Reverend Joanna Gabriel.
Hello, everyone.
Hi there.
I love that. The angel from heaven, huh? Okay. That's a lot to live up to. I am so grateful to get to be with you today, and I apologize for being in spirit only and with technology on the screen. Recently, I had a couple of biopsies done on my face, one on my nose and one on my lip, and it turns out that this one is cancer and this one isn't, basal cell from the sun kind of thing. And I had started to use some essential oil things that I took for the first time last night, and boy, it did. My body said no. And so I was sick through the night, and so I have to leave here at 6 in the morning to get to the ferry in Cookville to get over to you guys. And I just couldn't do it this morning. And so I'm very grateful for Cindy and Mark, who scrambled to get it together so that we could do this by Skype so that we could still be together. And I'm very, very grateful for that. And so I'm coming to you, it's interesting that we're talking about Emmett Fox today. Are any of you familiar with Emmett Fox?
Yes.
And it just so happens that Unity is featuring Emmett Fox and Emmett Fox writings this time. If you get the periodicals from Unity, you know that the most recent one was called The Golden Key Today, which is applying Emmett Fox's teachings to our world today. So we were just right in step with that. And the reason that I say that it's kind of timely, I have talked about other spiritual teachers in the past. I like to bring up Emmett Fox at this time because he's really good at reminding us that we have everything we need right now to deal with the world that we're living in. And I don't know about you, but the world's looking pretty interesting and a little bit wacky at this point in time. And so that reminder becomes more and more important, that we actually are prepared, that we do have what we need, that we are who we are to be present and to deal with these times. And so it seems a good idea to be reminded of what he called the Golden Key was all about. First, let me tell you just a little bit about him. Emmett Fox lived from 1886 to 1951, and he's known as a New Thought spiritual leader, and he's famous for his large divine science church services held in New York City during the Great Depression. He was born in Ireland, and his father, who died before Emmett was 10, was a physician and a member of the Parliament. Emmett went to a Jesuit school and he became an electrical engineer. However, he discovered early that he had healing power, and from the time of his late teens, he studied New Thought. He attended the London meeting of the International New Thought Alliance in 1914, and he gave his first New Thought talk in Mortimer Hall in London in 1928. He went to the United States in 1931 and was selected to become the successor to James Murray as the minister of New York's Divine Science Church of the Healing Christ. Fox became immensely popular and spoke to large church audiences during the Depression, holding weekly services for up to 5,500 people. He was ordained in the Divine Science branch of New Thought. And one of the interesting things about him and his work is his secretary was the mother of one of the men who worked with Alcoholics Anonymous co-founder Bill W. And partly as a result of this connection, early AA groups often went to hear Fox. His writing, especially the Sermon on the Mount, became popular in AA, and several of the pamphlets like The Golden Keys and The 7 Main Aspects of God are also widely read in AA. Well, Emmett became a friend, he was a colleague and a friend of Charles Fillmore. And Charles Fillmore really liked Emmett's thinking and his writing. And so he asked him to put a simple pamphlet together that kind of boiled down what his thinking was. And that's how the Golden Key came to be, is Emmett wrote it for Unity as a favor to Charles Fillmore. I'm going to share the Golden Key with you because there's no better way to explain it, and then we'll kind of get into what that's about. The Golden Key that Emmett Fox wrote and that Charles Fillmore asked him to share with Unity is this: God is omnipotent, and we are God's image and likeness and have dominion over all things. This is the inspired teaching, and it is intended to be taken literally at its face value. The ability to draw on this power is not the special prerogative of the mystic or the saint, as is so often supposed, or even of the highly trained practitioner. Everyone has this ability. Whoever you are, wherever you may be, the golden key to harmony is in your hand now. This is because in scientific prayer, it is God who works and not you. You know, in unity, we have a prayer, a saying, an affirmation that says, it is not I, but the Christ within who does the work. It is God, not you, who works, and so your particular limitations or weaknesses are of no account in the process. And isn't that good news? You are only the channel through which the divine action takes place, and your treatment will be just the getting of yourself out of the way. Beginners often get startling results the first time, for all that is essential is to have an open mind and sufficient faith to try the experiment. Apart from that, you may hold any views on religion or none. As for the actual method of working, like all fundamental things, it is simplicity itself. All you have to do is this: stop thinking about the difficulty, whatever it is, and think about God instead. This is the complete rule, and if only you will do this, the trouble, whatever it is, will disappear. It makes no difference what kind of trouble it is. It may be a big thing or a little thing. It may concern health, finance, a lawsuit, a quarrel, an accident, or anything else conceivable. But whatever it is, stop thinking about it and think of God instead. That is all you have to do. It could not be simpler. God could scarcely have made it simpler. And yet it never fails to work when given a fair trial. So that's the golden key. So if it's so darn simple, how come we have so many trials and tribulations? How come the world feels like it's such a mess? Well, if it's just so simple, why does it feel so hard? And when I was thinking about this, it's like, to me, the idea of don't focus on the thing, focus on God, it's really helpful to have a sense of God. When I say that to you, or anybody goes up to the front of the room and says, okay, it's just about God, what does that mean to you? Do you have a relationship with that which you know God, with that you call God? Are you on a first name basis with that energy? Is it something you trust? Is it the first place you go when things are challenging? Is it the first place you go when you're feeling joy? Or is it just something we talk about on Sunday morning? One of the things that I ask myself about that, this idea of God, just turn to God, just give it to God, just focus on God, don't focus on the problem. And you know, that's easy to say, but when we're dealing with a crisis, when we're dealing with a health challenge, when we're dealing with the loss of a loved one, when we're dealing with looking at what we're seeing on TV and scratching our heads and going, what is going on? What does it mean to say, don't think about that, think about God? And it might help to look at what Emmett has to say about the 7 aspects of God. What is the nature of God? How does that even apply? I mean, it's a nice idea, but is it something that's kind of airy-fairy out in the clouds? Or is it something very real and down to earth that we can apply directly to what it is that we're dealing with? Because isn't that what we have to know? Isn't that where we have to put our faith? The first main aspect of God, as Emmett states, is life. God is life. God is not just living. God does not just give life, but God is life. Where God is, life is. And one of the highest expressions of God is life is joy. Joy. Do you allow yourself to feel joy? When you came to church this morning and you saw what an incredibly beautiful morning it is, crystal clear. And oh, where we live, with the water and the mountains and the trees, did you give yourself a moment to feel that joy? Joy is a way that we can be in relationship with God. Joy. Just feeling it. Just being aware of the beauty that surrounds us. And you and I are particularly blessed, aren't we? Joy. Realizing divine life heals the sick. Animals usually respond quickly, and plants respond very quickly indeed, because they do not have the strong sense of personal egotism that most human beings do. They never make up their minds that they cannot get well, or that sickness is sent for a good purpose. Neither do they give way to discouragement, because they have not been healed faster. God is life, and divine life is a way towards healing. The opportunity, the way it comes to us, is us being aware and open to it. Does that make sense? Do you get that? Does that ring true? The next aspect is God is truth. As soon as we touch God, who is absolute, relative things disappear. To know the truth about any condition heals it. Jesus said, "And ye shall know the truth, and truth shall make you free." Do you tell yourself the truth about a situation? When you're dealing with a challenge, have you looked in the mirror and got really honest, down and honest with yourself about what's really happening there? When you're in conflict with someone, do you stop and drop into the truth? And when I say that, sometimes in conversations, especially when we're in a conflict with someone, we can have a very surface, shallow conversation. Why? Because we're scared. We go into defense. We don't want to get hurt. We don't want to hurt them. And so we might have a conversation that skims across the top. And one of the ways we can heal that is to drop into honesty, telling the truth. And you may say, well, Joanna, I don't want to be the first one to do that. And what I'm going to suggest to you is this. You have the courage and the willingness to drop into your truth and say to the other person, I'm feeling scared here. I'm feeling really scared. What you're doing is being honest, and at the same time, you're inviting the other person to do the same. Just in that honesty, you have taken the conversation to a deeper level. It's a new conversation. It's a new connection. You've made it safe to be in the conversation with your honesty. That's God coming into the space, coming through you, coming through the conversation. God is love. There is no condition that enough love will not heal. God is love. Are you feeling love? Are you feeling love for yourself? Are you feeling love for those around you? Were you feeling love for the person that didn't go when the light turned green this morning in front of you? To realize God as love is the remedy for fear. Divine love never fails, but the important thing to realize is that divine love must be in your own heart and cannot operate from outside. That love starts from within. We have to open to love for ourselves in order to be authentic love anywhere else. And for many of us, that's a big one. If you're not feeling love in your life, in your relationships, in your relationship with the world, it's time for more God. Time for more love. Let God come in as love and start with the one in the mirror. You know, that's my favorite one to talk about. There she goes again, talking about the one in the mirror. Yeah. Because that's the place where we have to open the doors and windows first, my friends. Once we do that, there's no limitations to how God can express through us. God is intelligence. When you clearly realize that this is an intelligent universe, it will make a major difference in your life. In an intelligent universe, there cannot be disharmony because all ideas must work together for common good. Neither can there be any lack. An engine which has been intelligently designed does not have any unnecessary parts, and neither are there any essential parts lacking. Don't you find that comforting, that you can call on the intelligence of God when there's something in front of you that you can't figure out? When you don't see a solution, you can call on God, and God has the vantage point at the top of the mountain that sees everything, sees all that's going on, sees all the players, sees everybody's intentions, understands it all, and can help you realize a solution that serves it all. God is soul. Soul is that aspect of God by virtue of which he is able to individualize himself. And Fox said something here I didn't realize before, and I looked it up and it was true. He says the word individual means undivided. Did you know that?
Yeah.
That individual, it comes from the Latin individus, which means undivided. Most people think seems to think it suggests separateness, but actually individual means undivided. And God has the power of individualizing without breaking into parts. You are an individualization of God. You are a unique individualization of God. There's God which is all and in all things, but God is not anywhere the same as God is through you. Do you get that? Do you know that? Nowhere in this universe, in all of its amazing complexity, simplicity, beauty, grace, power, nowhere in that universe is God expressed exactly the same as God expresses through you. So do you realize how you are an essential part of the whole? Do you understand how it is that you are loved and accepted and needed as a part of the design? Can you feel the power in that? God is spirit. Spirit is that which cannot be destroyed or damaged. It is the opposite of matter. Matter wears out, but spirit does not, because spirit is substance. You are spirit. Spirit cannot die and was never born. Your true self was never born and will never die. You are eternal, divine, unchanging spirit in your own nature. And the seventh one is God is principle. And Emmett says that this is the one that's probably least understood. God is principle, unchanging, always present, cannot be destroyed. Prayer is answered because God is principle, eternally manifest in the same way. When we pray rightly, we bring ourselves into harmony with God's law of being. Prayer does not ask God to change the laws for our temporary convenience, but it tunes us in, so to speak, with divine principle. If God were to make exceptions because we were in great difficulties, which because of his nature could never do, we should never know where we stood. If the law of gravity were occasionally suspended without notice because of a very important man had fallen off a roof, you know what would happen to the world. Think about that. If gravity was temporarily suspended because a very important person had fallen off a roof. No, it doesn't work that way. Gravity's always there. And that's a good example for us. That reminds us that God is always there. The energy of God through all these aspects is always there. The only variable is, are we listening? Are we paying attention? Are we allowing it through? Because as principle, and God always being there, what's also true is God will not come in on top of us over our free will. We must choose it. We must say yes. We must open those doors and windows. It will not break the glass. We have to choose. That's consciousness. That's what it means to be human in life. That's what differentiates us from everything else, is our ability to choose. Sometimes it feels like a curse, doesn't it? But it's also our way home. It's our growth. It's our life. It's our ability to evolve and to become more. And when we don't choose, or we choose in a way that doesn't serve us, immediately we have the opportunity to choose again. There is no judgment in God. God knows who we are. We don't need to prove anything to God. We're the ones that get confused. And that's why these tools that Emmett, this writing that Emmett Fox has done, can be really useful if we allow it. It reminds us what's true of us, what always was true of us, and always will be true of us. The opportunity is for us to plug into it, is to tap into it, is to say yes to it, is to allow it. And you know, people have a lot of stuff going on right now. There's a lot going on for folks. Have you noticed? Maybe there's a lot going on for you. Have you applied God to it? Have you applied God as life? God is love? God is intelligence? God is principle? It's who we are, my friends. And it's there for us. It always was. It always will be. And wow, this is a good time to try it out. And so now if it feels comfortable, will you just kind of get settled in your seat, and if it feels okay, close your eyes and maybe take a couple of deep breaths. And if you're okay with a guided image, since I'm coming to you as spirit today anyway, I'll suggest an image to you. And I'll suggest to you that you open your hand and that there's a golden key there. Can you see it? There's a gold key. And it's there, and it's always there. It's a part of you. The only requirement is that you open your hand and make contact with it. Can you let the energy of that golden key through you? Breathing, allowing it through you, letting it unlock your power, your strength, your intelligence, the ability to heal, to forgive, to begin again. The ability to see beyond appearances. To remember that God, that love, that life, that soul, that spirit is a part of all of it. That when what you see in front of you doesn't make sense, or is scary, or is painful, or causes you anger or fear, that you can call forth the God, the love, the life, the spirit in the midst of it. And all things are possible. Maybe there's someone in particular who you know could use this reminder of who they truly are right now, that they hold a golden key right now in the midst of whatever they're going through. And if you'd like, feel free to say their name aloud right now so we can hold them with you. And there may be those there in our beloved spiritual community. Nora. And whoever you know who's going through a time of change, a time of growth, a time of healing, a new beginning. We hold that key with them, the golden key, reminding them that they have all things possible through God in the midst of these circumstances. We hold Reverend Larry and his family, who's made the choice not to come to the Unity of Bremerton at this time. We're grateful for what he brought. We bless him and his family. And we understand that God, as intelligence, as love and life, as spirit and soul, is working through this situation. And as one door closes, it opens another door, another window. That if it's the highest good for Reverend Larry not to come, it's also the highest good for Unity of Bremerton. Because highest good cannot conflict, because we're all one. So we trust the process, bless the process, and open the doors and windows for the highest good to unfold. For the opportunity to be reminded of the truth of us in the midst of us. We are grateful, and so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Our angel from heaven.
It's time for special music.
Sorry.
This is a song that we've done many times before, but it's a very positive song, and we always like it when you sing along with us, especially on the chorus. So it's called Top of the World. Everything I want the world to be is now coming true, especially for me. And the reason is clear, it's because you are here. You're the nearest thing to heaven that I've seen. I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is a love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love puts me at the top of the world. Something in the wind has learned my name,
As you're preparing your tithe and love offerings today, think about how blessed you are. And as you're writing your check or giving your gift, send out your blessings. After your tithe, be sure and come up and light a candle or shed a concern. Together.
I give willingly, joyfully, and lovingly, knowing that God is the constant source of my supply. I give with graciousness and receive with gratitude.
So it is. And I also. The good news is that we have great support in this church. Nora got hurt, she fell down, and our church supported her, and she's watching right now, so keep her in your prayers.
Hi, Nora.
Hi, Nora.
Hi, Nora.
Yeah, I have something to share. I don't usually, but this was so in tune with Reverend Joanna's talk today, and wonderful Emmett Fox. I've been reading him for 50 years.
Put the microphone closer on you.
I'm sorry. For those, some of you may not know, but I've been taking care of some people's house and 2 dogs for a couple of weeks, and so I haven't been able to come because I hate to leave them for so long. And this last Friday, she has this humongous garden with every kind of plant you can imagine. Every pot has all kinds of different things. Some of them need more water and less water. And as you know, we had some hot weather last week. And it was really tough because I'm not a gardener. And so I don't know which is which and what needs water, so I just watered everything. So I rotated around. Well, it came time to go up to this balcony-like thing that's off their bedrooms. And so I was up there, and they have hanging tomato plants. And
Oh my God.
I wasn't sure because the heat had just fried them. But then I heard somewhere that once the tomatoes have set, it's okay if the leaves dry. So I'm looking at them, and all of a sudden, the door closes behind me.
Oh.
I feel it's locked. And I'm on a 2nd floor balcony. Don't know anybody. No key. I had my own keys around my neck. I tried every one in the lock. Nothing worked. And I should have been panicked because they didn't come home until 1 o'clock last night. Sorry. Okay. I didn't panic. And I don't know why. I don't know if there's something wrong with me or what. I had this river of peace. And I kept saying to myself, yes. And these are your friends, the Dinkas that I was at their house. She taught their oldest son ballet 100 years ago. She knows these people. And what was so beautiful, the 2 dogs, one of them came to one window and one of them came to the other window, and they were just looking at me, and they're these Westies with these beautiful brown eyes, and they just looked, their little tails going like, what are you doing out there? But that's okay, we can still see you. Luckily I had fed them. And an hour went by, and I started listening, like, could I holler? Would somebody in the neighborhood hear me? You know, maybe they call the police, and then how could I prove what I was doing there? You know, it's very, very strange. But so strange, it was surreal. And I have to tell you that with everything that she said today, there was this river of peace. And I prayed, and I prayed. I didn't get on my knees because it's very hard, and I have funny knees. And another hour went by. And it was starting to get cold and dark. It was starting to get about 7:30. And it was chilly, and I just had a light sleeveless shift on. So I sat, and I sat. And as clear as day, I thought I heard a friend of mine say hello. And I could have sworn it was she, but I thought, oh, what should she be doing here? However, she does know the family. She doesn't live far away. And we are very close friends, very close friends. I had heard the telephone ring a few times. Well, to make a long story short, something told her to come over and check on me.
Oh, wow.
And you know the rest of the story. 3 hours later, and a very grateful me and very grateful dogs. But it's amazing because I thought, break the glass, no. Jump, no. It was just with such peace as a stream going through it that it was such a demonstration. I had to share it. I mean, I had to share it because I could still be up there. If I'm screaming, I'm doing
Go ahead, tell us.
Well, we had our wedding last weekend, got through it, everybody survived. And for people who weren't here last week, I mentioned that Tom Martin was the minister. And he just was really, really wonderful. He looked great. And it was just a good day all around. Hot. And I was, of course, sitting in the front row being the grandmother. And my son-in-law from North Carolina came up and he had this big blue umbrella and he just stood there through the whole ceremony and held it over my head. So it was quite a day.
May I?
Absolutely. Just wanted to share a couple of good things. This coming Friday night is our game night, our monthly game night. We'd like to get a bunco group together, but you need about 8 people. So if you're interested, please let me know. I recently played that with the school kids and we had such a good time. So if you're interested, we'd really like to get that going, but we need a few more people to show up. So sign up, let me know. Maybe we can get some bunco going on. Nora is one that does need our prayer support. She did fall. She fell on her fanny on the concrete. She's been to the doctor. She's on meds, but yes, she does need prayer support. Same with Tracy and Robert. They're going through some challenges. They could use some prayer support also, so include them in your prayers too, please. And update on Dean the Bean from last week, the kidney transplant. He woke up. So yay, so he's doing better too. So I wanted to share that for those of us that prayed for Dean the Bean last Sunday. He's functioning, so thank you for that. And then my own personal good news, I'm going to be starting a new chapter in my life. In September, I got a government job, so I'll be working as a contract specialist for the Navy. Watch out, Navy.
And just a cool happening, my husband was with me when we went to the Dollar Tree last week. That's not cool, but that's unique. And so he sat in the car and I went in. This one over in East Bremerton. So he's sitting in the car and it's hot and the windows are down. And this older, beautiful African-American gentleman comes up and says, "Hey, how are you doing? If you're ever available, would you feel free to come to our church?" And he hands him a postcard. It was our church. And I'm just sitting there going, oh my God. So it still exists. It's the Unity Trenton Avenue Church.
Oh, it is. It doesn't look like it from here.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah. You've been there. Been there, done that.
I don't believe there's any children today. Okay. There is our chaplain, and she would love to pray with you after service. So, if everybody would rise, hold hands. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all approved.